YouTube, how's everybody doing? What a rocky way to start a cast. Welcome to the first Osiris League cast. This is not the official cast, ladies and gentlemen. We've been working on an official cast, and that's coming. That is coming still. But that's not what today is. Today is just a regular cast like we always do when Ark of Osiris is around. Let me bring up the camera a little bit. Today we have a first fight of many to come. 5 or 6 Ark of Osirises today, and we are going for as many as close Osirises as we can go with. So this one's going to be an interesting one. 160G against AWA. Now here's the deal, chat. Here's the deal. Lilith told me that we will be able to spectate everything without being in the alliance. So I really hope that that actually works. Or else we're screwed. Or else we are screwed indeed. I need to remember very quickly in which they are Division 17. Division 17. These guys right here. How do we watch this? I have no clue. I have no idea. It should start within the next minute, apparently. I'm hoping so. And so once it does, we should be able to watch somehow. Hopefully that actually works, or else we're really screwed. Or else we are really screwed. So let's hope for the best. I have no clue how this even works. And so we just wait the minute and hopefully it'll be like, yo, you can watch this now. And I'd be like, cool. Or else we're kind of screwed. We might be screwed. I don't know yet. I told Lilith that I really hope this works and that we're going to find out the hard way, I guess. Watch. Bam. It worked. Ha! Ladies and gentlemen, we are in Osiris League watching 160 OG against 160G against AWA. Now, chat, before we get started, very quickly, I don't know if this is actually a thing. It is. They're in. We're spectating. This actually works. I'm legitimately surprised. Now, chat, I know you guys are seeing darkness for a second. I do want to bring up one more tool that we usually use. And for that, I needed darkness for a moment on the monitor. So I apologize for that one. There you go. I bring it back up. Your stream is cutting off. I'm seeing everything is good to go on my end, but keep it open for a moment. It should stabilize within a few. And so we're watching AWA slowly make their way in here. I don't see that many of them, so hopefully it's not lag or nothing crazy. 160G are here kind of with full force. People are still porting in. This is the first time in a long time. I don't know why Nightbot is going crazy. I'm sorry for that, chat. This is the first time in a long time that I haven't seen people in the first second, and there's only a minute and a half left for preparation. We did see someone port in and not show up. This is a little weird. This is a little weird. So we have someone in here. And someone should be in here. Yeah, they're slowly and steadily making their way in here. So let's take a look at AWA very quickly as they make their way in. See who the opposition here is. And a 19 million power, 22, 68. We have 1 tier 5 on AWA so far. And it looks like these guys are pretty much in the middle of their way towards those tier 5s mostly. Are these, I don't know if these are their starting lineup, if this is people coming in later. Second tier 5 right there for you. And on the 160G side, we have 1 tier 5. Almost a tier 5 or potentially tier 5. 2 potentially tier 5s. That's 3 tier 5s right there. And it looks like we do see a little bit of lag because I am missing some players off the screen. I had to go in and out. So this is lagging a little bit. 4 tier 5s. Lots of warriors in here. Lots of warriors. 4 tier 5s, potentially 6 in this zone. And men, oh men, within the next 10 seconds, the gates of hell are going to open up and Osiris League will kick off for the first time. The first Osiris League match. Chat, if you guys have never seen an Ark of Osiris cast before and don't know how it works, let me give you a quick, brief explanation as we're looking at 24 against 17. 24 against 17 so far is looking very, very bad for at least the red team. This could be a little bit disappointing considering we picked a pair up of alliances that are very close to each other. Looks like on the red side, people are just not showing up. We'll find out the hard way as this progresses. The way Ark of Osiris works is we have the first stage of buildings, which are the buildings... That's wrong. Which are the buildings behind the black line right there. Stage 1 is already available for conquering. Most people tend to go towards the obelisks fast first, and that's how they manage to port out of the initial zone out to the obelisk areas, and so to be able to fight better and faster. Once that happens, zone 2 opens up 5 minutes after the match starts, which are the sky altars, desert altars, and shrines of war and life. Most of the points per minute in this game are earned in the second stage with the altars and shrines of war, and the game is based on points per minute. And so this game mode is not about who gets the most kills, it's who gets the most points and earns a victory on the battlefield. In case, again, you've not done Osiris League before, Ken, thank you for the $5 Australian. I appreciate you. Are you going to stream JWM and IR later today? Dope stream. I love it. I don't know yet who I'm streaming later on. I think that for the first stages, we'll be streaming more close matchups. And so JWM are not going to be casted because their matchup is insanely skewed in their favor. But maybe IR. IR would be a good idea. I'll go take a look at what their IR's matchup is later. We have a 1 rally already walking out. We have 7 rallies. Look at blue team. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rallies set up versus the 2 by the red team. The red team going towards their enemies' obelisks very early on. And so are the blue team going both towards their own obelisks as well as the opposition. Now, we're seeing the buildings already being occupied very quickly. Blue team and red team already have their first obelisk, and rallies are already marching both to their own obelisk as well as to their opposition's obelisks. We have 5 marches, 5 rallies, 5 of them marching already on the battlefield for the green team, while the red team with 2 marches and 21 people showing up for the match. It's a little bit disappointing to see a 21 versus 27 matchup, but hey, you never know what's going to happen here still. Plenty of time for people to come in, and plenty of time for people to come in, and plenty of time for people to step up and win this thing still. Blue team so far is very in control. They have all of their outposts, all of their obelisks. They're on their way to the enemy obelisk, while the enemy is still trying to get to their last outpost. Mahesh, that's just not true, but I'm not going to go into that right now. At this point, all we're waiting for is to see what these rallies are going to accomplish. These very early rallies are super important. You can see Sir Baldi is making his way into the obelisk. 2 minutes and 20 seconds until this obelisk it gets occupied by the red team, and so they can port in. But there's a march on its way, and both these marches are gonna make it to. This one is to their own obelisk, which is good, and this one's gonna make it in before the obelisk locks up. So now the red team has to send some reinforcements and secure this obelisk at least until the time comes and they can port in and keep reinforcing it. Apparently, the times on the Ark pages are local time, not UTC time. And the worst part is, what is that? 10 hours of Ark of Osiris. Hopefully that's not a thing. And hopefully, I don't know. We're about to find out the hard way. This is crazy. A match is 11 hours long. That would be insane. We're looking at the obelisk getting chunked down by a fast cav. 52 minute at the 52:15 mark. The fast cav is here, and 160 picked up the obelisk. They made it in before all the reinforcements could make it in. And now there is almost a full rally within this obelisk. Boy, oh boy. What a bad way to start the match. 1.4 million troops in the red obelisk belonging to the blue team. Second stage already opening up and buildings being conquered by the blue team. Sky altar going in the favor of the blue team. And another altar, desert altar, waiting to be occupied. Desert altar, on the other hand, getting occupied by the blue team. And sky altar just waiting for occupation. Red team on their way there as well. Blue team are taking over the map, and now it is up to red team to redeem themselves back and take it back in their favor. There are plenty of marches in here that are capable of taking this obelisk back, but the time is now before this obelisk locks in for the blue team. If it locks in for the blue team and they manage to port in here, it's going to be a very, very tough ask for the red team to re-secure their own obelisk. But they have plenty of infantries, one of them even leaving. If all these 4 marches hit this obelisk right now, they do have the ability to potentially take it back, as it was a full cavalry into this obelisk, while these guys are holding on to plenty of infantries that can counter it. Now, here's the deal. Blue team are taking over the map. Rallies marching across the field onto the one obelisk that belongs to the red team. The red team have secured it, however, and so they've ported forward, and they have plenty of troops within this area to potentially secure this obelisk. It looks like all these marches are making their way forward on the map, and the red team is trying to do the same to the blue team. There is a rally in here going towards the blue obelisk, but because the blue team managed to port in already into the obelisk, they can just send as many troops as they need to defend this obelisk. And that's why the red team has to pounce on this before it's too late. If it's too late, then you're going to see blue marches getting all over here, and this is going to be a big problem. If this goes on for 11 hours, we're going to stop after the 1 hour and hope for the best. That timer seems wrong to me. Clearly. Excuse me, it's like 6 a.m. in here. I woke up especially to cast this awesome match because we have to get all these casts done. And oh my goodness, these guys are getting chewed. 1 march already out, 2 marches just sitting here by Sir Baldy, just waiting up for I don't know what exactly. I don't understand this, but it looks like this obelisk is full of tier 5s. It looks like it's full of tier 5s. There's 1 tier 5 march only, but that's all that's needed to counter as many tier 4s. And now, look at this. The blue team locked in the obelisk in their favor. They have a lot of teleports available for them. And here's what the red team has to fear the most. This right here. Blue team porting forward, and now they will be able to hold on to this obelisk quite comfortably. And red team are about to get run over, and they already are getting run over. 3 altars in the favor of the blue team. First occupations going towards the blue team. We're seeing another first occupation on this desert altar right here, which is 750 points. I look a little tired. I am a little tired. I went to bed at like 2 a.m. and woke up at 5:30 to be able to cast this. And still got to go to work today. So it's going to be a rough one today. But still, blue team going for the red obelisk. 3 cities in here, including a tier 5 member who is sending marches out forward rather than protecting his own obelisk. A 21 versus 28 Ark of Osiris is not ideal. But what's even worse is a situation where 2 ports are available and the red team have not used them to at least attempt to secure their 1 obelisk. One of the ports is being used right now, and hopefully this player right here will be able to send marches into the obelisk on time. He's marching back his troops, which is a good thing. It means that he's making space in the obelisk. But if he doesn't come back fast enough, it's not going to be enough. He makes his way into the obelisk. He went back. He sent the wrong troops. Not enough time, my friend. You do not have enough time. You were not ready for this ahead of time. And now you guys lost the 1 obelisk you do own. And this is just big boy trouble for the red team. Big boy trouble for the red team. They're only down by about 2,000 points. But the points per minute game is really not working in their favor. We're looking at 320 points per minute towards the blue team and more. And this is just the beginning. Blue team are almost locking in another altar in their favor. They have both Shrines of Life. They have both obelisks that belong to the blue team, to the red team. I feel like this is going to be a major GG. And I think we are going to even venture out to go take a look at other Osiris League matches. The fun thing about Osiris League is that we can choose to dip out on a cast and go check out other Osiris League matches as we agree as a team here that this is probably over at some point. It's not over yet. Red team can still come back, but they're 7 men down and no obelisks available. And so I don't really know what happened here and why it happened, but it's a possibility to go check out another arc in a few moments once we know that this thing is done for. I definitely thought about looking at F2P. I wanted to cast F2P's arc, but they have a very uneven matchup. A very, very uneven matchup between F2P and their opposition. But we'll definitely go take a look at another cast once we can guarantee in a couple of moments. Let's give them 5 more minutes to make sure to see that everything is actually the way I think it is. All this is all sorts of messed up. And so, looks like they sent out farmers first. I saw a ton of sieges going out very quickly on the red side. It looks like it indeed. We can go take a look very quickly and see if we see a little bit of provisioning individuals. Let's go take a look. Can we find a little bit of provisioning happening on the map? It looks like the map is barely loading. Here we go. So we are seeing indeed a lot of these folks in here. A lot of AWA sending their marches towards gathering over buildings. That's a real shame. That is a real shame. It looks like they don't have the manpower right now to go up against the blue team. And it looks like 160G are going to have a very, very, very easy time winning their first Osiris League match, which is awesome. They already almost dominate the whole map. They dominate the Osiris Temple, which is about to spawn as the first Osiris League, Ark of Osiris of the league of this match. They don't even care to pick it up. They don't even care to pick it up, quite honestly. Looking at 3,000 plus point difference between the blue team and the red team down by 580 points per minute. And the numbers just keep growing in the favor of the blue team as they lock in the second Shrine of Life. And I believe, as unfortunate as this may be, it's about to be a quick GG in favor of the red team. The red team did pick up, however, a Shrine of Life. I don't really know how is this any helpful. The only tier 5, I guess, on their side did whatever he could to at least pick up the one building. They are competing for their own obelisk, trying to get it back. DQ sending a rally out, but there's not enough in here to actually justify picking up this obelisk back. There's nothing these guys can really do, especially now that the blue team are porting forward into this area and they have some red targets available for the snacking right here. It is time, I believe, to call it GG for the blue team and potentially move on to the next Ark of Osiris to spectate. This guy right here, being a little bit of a nuisance, picked up an outpost of Iset away from the blue team. And there is an altar blinking right here as there are red marches attempting to take back this sky altar. But the sky altar is so well secured that even a tier 5 solo march right there is nothing compared to what's in there. Ark of Osiris has been picked up finally, and it's making its way back to the blue camp. And my friends, as much as we would like to keep watching this and encourage out the competition, AWA and 160, we can't. And so let's move on. Let's move on and try to find a better matchup happening right now. So let's go ahead and go back to the Osiris League watch tab and go take a look at who is fighting where. So let's take a look at the recommended tab for a moment, see who is fighting where. We have anything interesting happening. Not in the recommended tab. These look pretty lion taking a big boy beating right here. And LTD doing their job right there as well. Let's go look for a nice division to cast. Let's see if we can find a nice matchup that is fairly even at this point in time. All we can do is really scroll between the alliance. Look at that. Look at the madness. F2P way ahead, destroying their opposition. It looks like most of these UCS going ham against 21N. We might go check UCS out if that's the case. But there we go. Here's one that might be interesting for us. It looks like a pretty even matchup in terms of the points as it started early on, but the red team seems to be way ahead. NB0 against 201P. NB0 are one of the alliances of the newbies right here. And so we're watching right now 3 red buildings blinking at the same time. Blue team going ham, trying to get back some map control, trying to get a little bit of buildings back, although they are solo hitting these buildings, which is not necessarily the most optimal thing to do. Osiris League picked up by the red team, but the blue team will not let this stand. A Saladin on the battlefield against 2 Richards and a Moneymoto is an easy peasy cleanup by the blue team. Blue team really need this arc to be able to gain a little bit of a breathing room in order to be able to potentially start coming back in terms of the buildings themselves. Let me change the title really quickly. We'll go with 201P versus NB0. NB0. I don't think I can put a hashtag in the title. Maybe I can. Let's see. Against NB0 right there. Bam. We'll change the power and everything later. So let's spectate this and see what we got going on here. Blue team are carrying the Ark of Osiris, which is, in their situation, it's not a bad thing. What they're doing right now is they're moving it as close as they can into their favor. Even though there are red marches that are chunking down, attempting to chunk down this Ark carrier, there is an archer march in here trying to do its best to combat these infantries. And this cavalry march is actually doing a fantastic job. It's not getting hit right now and carrying the Ark on its way back to the outpost. Now, due to the fact that there are so many red marches around it, I do not believe it'll be successful to reach the outpost itself. But again, it's giving more breathing room and time for the blue team to come back. And here we go. The march is taken out, but the Ark is making it made its way even closer to the blue side. Red team are doing whatever they can to combat this. There are blue marches on their way in here to try to help this out. If one champ right here picks up the Ark of Osiris and the blue team target him, he's an easy target, especially when Great Daddy and Amigos, whatever I see here, are on their way in here. What they have to do is they just duplicated. They have to be able to hold on to this to stop this from marching. Now, here's the deal. The red team have the Shrine of War on this side, and they can take the Ark into that Shrine of War. So the first priority for these marches has to be to stop the march of this Ark, which they seem to be able to do quite comfortably, as this is a Lohar-led march. Now, here's the deal, chat. Blue team do have a little bit of an advantage here, as their marches have more health than the red marches in this area, and they are destroying the Ark carrier, which is the point right here. Once that is done, more marches can make their way in here, and if this Ark is carried, things are going to become a little more interesting. The points per minute game is very skewed in the favor of the red team, and so the blue team really has to start occupying buildings, which they are. Their main issue is that they have an enemy obelisk, which is interesting, but they don't own enough altars early on. They really have to start stepping up the point per minute game in order to potentially come back to this. They need to start working on the point per minute game as fast as possible. Great Daddy was on his way to the Ark, but didn't pay attention that it was picked up, and so he's sent back. These guys really have to focus on the Ark carrier right now instead of on the marches on the battlefield. If this Ark carrier slips out, it's going to be much harder for the blue team to come up with a win. Alex Lionfish figured that one out really quickly and is going straight at the Ark carrier, who is slowed down quite significantly due to the Ark, as well as is very susceptible to getting hit. And so this Ark carrier did a decent job at moving the Ark quite a lot this way. But now it's the time for the blue team to come up with a way to stop all the madness and outpour of red team marches. This one's a lot more interesting, ladies and gentlemen, as we're looking at a 2,000 point difference between the two teams, but the red team are indeed ahead 260 points per minute, and they are contesting for an obelisk, which they can't pick up right now. Looking at the blue team, they still own an obelisk, and now they're porting in to start doing a little bit of damage and the back lines of the red team. We don't really have too much information on 201p or on NB0, so let's go take a quick look at these alliances. 201p is a 3.31 billion power alliance, and they're going up against NB0, who are, as of right now, a 3 billion alliance. So these guys are pretty close matchup in terms of power. Just had a conversation with Billy. That's definitely a thing. That's definitely a thing. That's definitely a thing, Homicide. It's not gonna happen probably on the on these casts, on the ones that are the group stage casts, because as you saw, we started looking at one arc and ended up going to another one. But once we start doing the actual official Osiris League casts, the idea is to have interviews, post-game interviews with people from the alliances and a bunch of other cool things. This is for now just me doing Arc of Osiris like I always did. It's nothing very crazy, but once we start doing the official Osiris League casts, there's a lot of cool things planned out, including what Shinchi is working on right now. As he is unavailable during the weekends because he works to cast, he's doing some of the pre-made work that we are going to be airing during Osiris League, which is going to be really cool. There's a lot in the making, my friend, that I've been working on for like a month and a half now. Finally, it's slowly and steadily coming together. And so my hope is that we'll have post-game interviews in every match once we actually get Arc of Osiris League rolling. Yeah, that's cool. That's good that he did. That's good that he did. I'm glad that he's doing it. I honestly didn't know what to expect out of Shinchi because I've never actually done anything with him. He and I live in a different time zone as most of those guys, and so we don't really get as much time together. So what time is it? It's, wow, let me take a look. 6:25 a.m. 6:25 a.m. and the blue team are bouncing back. The blue team did lose the Arc of Osiris. It's the first one out there, and it looks like the red team are solely in control of it. They're trying to get their way back into it, but it seems like they potentially gave up on this arc at this point in time. And so they're now working on buildings, and they're doing everything right now. They're doing absolutely everything right. They let go of the arc, but they did indeed manage to slow down the growth of the red team in the points per minute game significantly. And once they actually lock in this one building, this one altar, they can actually start coming back into this matchup. By the time this happens, it looks like the Arc of Osiris is going to go in the favor of the red team. So there's going to be a decent gap in here. But of course, the blue team have to be able to hold on to buildings, which they aren't right now. There are too many marches focused on the arc itself, and because of that, it looks like this altar will not be in favor of the blue team. The red team managed to stop them from occupying it and gaining points. This can be a little bit of a killer for the blue team, as they really need to step up the points per minute and start taking a lead. Let's see. Yeah, I am in 196, but I'm no longer in Legends Gaming. The 196 account is looking for a new home. Shrine of Life being contested by the red team, and it looks like the Shrine of Life will be secured for the blue team for now. They really want to pick up this extra desert altar right here to start winning the points per minute game. This is where everything changes. Right now, they take a lead. Blue team are in command with 120 points per minute more. And this is where they really need to start stepping up and gaining that extra advantage, because this will give a nice, comfortable 3,000 point in the favor of the red team. So that's about 7,000 points, 6,500 point lead for the red team. And that's enough for them to be able to amass a counter attack and try to get buildings back. Right now, there is a cushion that the red team is comfortable with. They have a good few minutes, a good 10 minutes or even more than that, of lead ahead of the blue team that they can take their time to start taking buildings back. This is a nuisance thing, but it actually does quite a lot of damage. This is 30 points per minute less for the blue team that the red team managed to sneak in. And that's actually a pretty good play right here. It's so close that those 30 points dragged in a massive amount of marches in this way. And now the blue team really have to start focusing on gaining points. The way they can do that is by getting the altars. These altars are everything right now. And the more time they take to take these altars back, the longer the red team have to secure them back. We're looking at some marches in here on the battlefield, attempting to get closer to this desert altar to potentially fight it and try to take it back. Some marches on the battlefield right here making their way to defend the desert altar, and they make it in. And now it's just a matter of trying to kill off these blue marches as the rally is on its way. A full cavalry rally, it's on its way to this altar. A march walked out of this altar to fight the open field battle. While there's a rally marching on its way to this desert altar, it realized its mistake, making its way right back into the altar. But boy, oh boy, there is a lot of blue marches. There are a lot of blue troops around here, and it looks like the rally is very successful against this altar. Blue team taking a more firm lead, 170 points per minute in favor of the blue team, and even more now that they managed to take away back this altar. And if it locks out for the blue team, that's where they're going to start picking up points. They're also waiting on one more altar, which just secured right now 320 points per minute, and the blue team are going to start closing down the gap. The blue team are going to start closing down the gap. This is getting very interesting. The blue obelisk is being contested by a rally of the red team. There are some blue cities in here. Well, one blue city is left in here. And this is exactly what the blue team dreamed of. They literally managed to get so many of these red folks focused on this obelisk that they managed to pick up 3 altars in return. This is actually such a fantastic play, such a fantastic thing by 201p, who seems super resilient, and they haven't given up yet, and they do have plenty of time to still win this. This blue guy decided he had enough, and he's dipping out. Some of these marches that were in here are still in here, trying to be a little bit of a nuisance to the red team. And now red team sending a rally on its way to the Shrine of Life that's supposed to be theirs, as the blue team are closing the gap with every minute that goes by. With every minute that goes by, we're seeing the blue team closing the gap more and more and more, which is fantastic, as they now need to start thinking about how they take over the Osiris temple to pick up this next arc of Osiris. Doesn't look like anyone's contesting for it just yet. Blue team are way ahead, closing in the red team away from the zone of the Osiris, of the arc of Osiris itself. If they manage to keep it like this for the next 5 minutes, there is a march here ready to pick up this arc, and there's another march making its way forward. And it indeed looks like the red team, with a 3,000 point deficit, are going to lose their gap very quickly. They did pick up the Shrine of Life back in their favor, which is fantastic. It slows down the rate of growth of the red team, of the blue team, by 80 points per minute. And on top of all that, it gives them the buffs so they can start healing a little bit and potentially come back into this and hold on to their lead. A 5,000 point lead is a lot, but it's not enough once this arc comes out, and it'll pretty much even out the match. While all this is happening, blue team are attempting to contest the Sky Altar. There was a little bit of a solo hit happening in here, and there's a rally on its way. If NB0 do not have enough troops in the Sky Altar, this can be a very nasty situation. Let's try to take a look. No? Okay, don't let me take a look. Cool, fantastic. Anyway, 7 rallies on the battlefield. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in favor of the blue team and 2 in favor of the red team. Sky Altar being contested. Massive damage being done to the Sky Altar versus the damage being done to the rally. 2 more solo marches in here to attempt to secure this as efficiently as possible. Another altar crashing. Ladies and gentlemen, NB0 are in trouble. Once this happens, the points per minute differential is going to be huge. We're looking at 400 points right now, and the red team about to lose 150 points per minute, even more, down to 190 points per minute. And oh my goodness, the blue team are coming back. The blue team are coming back as the red team starts swarming this desert altar that's being defended by a Lohar. 201, what are you doing? You guys are doing so fantastically well. Why is there a Lohar in here? 4 altars in the favor of the blue team. Only 3 of them ticking for points as of right now. 1 of them still under occupation. Why does it show 10 hours? I have no clue. I hope this lasts 1 hour and not 10. If it lasts over an hour, we're not going to cast over the 1 hour. But hopefully this is just a display bug. I hope. Red team starting their offensive with one of the 2 rallies that they're set out on its way. There's a 3rd rally already. 1 rally is battling out on its way to its destination. It's being hurt a little bit by the solo marches by Flex the Sleepy. There's another 2 marches waiting. They're both waiting on marches to make it in so the rally comes out. And this march going into this rally has sieges in it. So it's slowing down everything. Everything is being slowed down, including this 1 rally right here that disappeared. But we're going to go find it in a second. Hello. Let's zoom back out. Zoom back in. Hopefully there it is. With all these sieges, 2 minutes of a march. 2 long minutes on the way wherever this is going. On the way to the Shrine of War. That's 2 minutes that the blue team are going to enjoy the points per minute for free pretty much. Red team being a nuisance still. Picking up outposts in the back. Trying to kind of divert the attention of the blue team. Blue team sending a few solo marches to the Shrine of Life but unsuccessful. And now it looks like the Ark of Osiris is about a minute away. And only a 5,000 points, even less than that, 4,500 point lead for the red team. Blue team being a nuisance in return, hitting up a little bit of these outposts, taking out the outpost of Iset with a rally, which I find pretty hilarious. This is actually not a bad thing at all. What they did in here is that they have a bunch of marches now inside this outpost as well as in here. And so if an Ark carrier by some way from the red team managed to pick up the Ark, now the blue team has troops behind enemy lines that they can go back and hit this Ark in return. At the same time, blue team very focused on this obelisk. There's a rally on it. Plenty of red cities around here to potentially hold on to this. And so this might not be the best play in terms of trying to win. However, what they are doing is they're holding here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 marches. 3 marches just sitting here, chilling. 11 marches total contesting the blue team, which are not part of contesting buildings in return. Another rally making its way out. Blue team securing 4 altars and 600 points per minute is a really tough ask by the red team right now to close the gap. Red team are not going to be able to pick up this obelisk again as there are way too many cities of the blue team in here. Red team are contesting, however, for the desert altar with a solo siege march? Question mark. Questionable things being done by the red team right now, but they do own a Shrine of War and a Shrine of Life, so they have the buffs they need to potentially come back to this. The blue team don't have an advantage in terms of buffs, but the advantage they do have is an Ark carrier, and he's making his way back home. Guys, sending sieges to rallies in Ark of Osiris is probably the worst thing an individual can do. These sieges are slowing down the rally, both the time it takes them to get to the rally as well as the march of the rally. And this game is all about time. It's about points per minute. Did you really think you're going to be able to bring it into the provisions? That's a question mark right there. A lot of buildings blinking. Finally, this rally made its way to the Shrine of War, and it is successful. It seems to be successful taking the Shrine of War away from the blue team. But the blue team already closed the gap pretty significantly. And now, with this Ark being carried back and being 600 points ahead and 4 men down compared to the 1 man down on the red team side, The blue team seem clearly to be ahead in what matters in here, which is points per minute. They understood the name of the game. They need the points per minute. They want to win the match, and so they are 600 points ahead. They can allow themselves to lose a couple of buildings along the way, which it looks like they're going to be fighting for their lives for this desert altar. But even if they lose this desert altar right now, the Ark of Osiris will give them a first lead in this match. And because they are so far ahead in the points per minute game, even if they drop one altar, they are still going to gain a bigger and bigger gap. There also seems like they're going to lose the Shrine of War. So they're about to drop a good 230 points per minute. And so they're still going to be up a nice little, 310 points per minute? But still gaining a lead. Redeem codes, anyone? No redeem codes yet. No redeem codes yet. Hopefully soon. Hopefully we'll have a little bit of redeem codes available very soon. Blue team are doing everything they can to try to hold on to the Shrine of War, but they are unsuccessful. And it looks like while they do carry the Ark back home, they're also going to lose the altar, the desert altar that's being rallied and soloed by the same guy. 1, 2, 3, 4 marches plus a rally on this desert altar. He really wants this desert altar back. Red team are about to lose their lead as the blue team are going to secure this Ark of Osiris, hopefully, if that's their plan. Some people are talking about hoarding onto the Ark of Osiris, holding onto it for later on. It looks like this is a potential play by the blue team. Chill with the Ark of Osiris close to their outpost until the very last minute. While that is happening, red team picking up the desert altar as we predicted, and now the point per minute game drops to about 430 points per minute in favor of the blue team. And they are doing the arc holding strat essentially. What this is holding on to the Ark, which is worth 3,500 points until it's a must to return it. And so right now, he's just chilling in here. He knows he has 3,500 points in favor of his team whenever he just goes in here. And so what he's doing is letting his team gain a little more points until he's actually required to get this in, which he did. And bada bing, bada boom, like Chisco says, 510 points per minute lead for the blue team. And boy, oh boy, I see trouble for the red team. Red team are doing what they need to do, though. They're focusing on buildings that give points. We're not going to pay attention to the 10 hours up on the top left, on the middle. Hopefully, this is a bug and it'll end after 1 hour. If it's 10 hours, this is going to be a very, 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 very big problem. We're not going to cast 10 hours, but I'm assuming that these guys are going to stop at the 1 hour mark and that this is just buggy. Doesn't surprise me too much. Red team picking up another altar, slowing down the growth of the blue team. But on the other hand, the blue team have taken out most of the buildings that belonged to the red team. Red team pouring out of this sky altar is not a good look right there. They have to hold on to the sky altar. If any marches are nearby and take back the sky altar, this is going to be so much trouble for the red team. They have 380 plus 30, so 430 points waiting to be locked down in their favor. And once that happens, they will be able to close down this lead of the blue team. At this point in time, the match is all about trying to gain a lead back. So the red team had plenty of time and plenty of a cushion early on to try to get things underway. And the blue team did exactly what they needed to do. They upset the point per minute game and just made sure that they are focused on having all these points pouring into their favor. And once that happened, the red team had to start thinking about buildings and less about Ark. And the second Ark went in favor of the blue team, and that's how they picked up a lead. The lead for the blue team is not significant. It is not significant at all, but there are only 18 minutes remaining in the match. One more Ark will spawn very soon, but the blue team seem very much in control of this zone. And now the red team have to make a choice, because the red team are up people, and they do have 2 ports available, and they do have all these outposts available. The red team really have to start picking up buildings fast and then contest this Ark. if they don't pick up these buildings as quick as possible and start contesting this arc, they have to do exactly this. Now the lead is only 240, 210 points per minute for the blue team. So they're not growing their gap, and then this thing crashes. They're not growing their gap fast enough. And that gives plenty of an opportunity for the red team to come back. If the red team managed to take the lead in the point per minute game and go challenge for that arc, there's actually a huge potential, a huge potential for them to come back into this matchup. Now, hopefully, this thing loads back up and we can get back into the match. I need to remember where, come on, game, there we go. It's usually a little bit laggy when we start up the game itself. Now let's go take a look here, and we go that way. Where are our friends? Let's see. 160G really pounding on our friends right there. The first matchup we wanted to take a look at was a clear bust. I don't remember which division we were looking at, so we got to find these guys really quickly. We got to find these guys. There we go. Going back into the match. Bam, just like that. A close matchup between 83 LTD and L9H Division 23. Also, cool. Good to know. But I think we're really invested in here right now, as the red team are doing what they need to do. 190 points difference between the two teams, and only about 2,000 points lead for the blue team. Blue team are not sleeping on the wheel though. They have full control of the center, and they know they can get away with doing this kind of stuff. Unfortunately, the red team, we saw them clearing out the Sky Altar, which is how the blue team are going to have such an easy time taking it back. And this is so bad for the red team, as they're about to lose 150 points per minute, which is going to make things so much tougher for them to be able to come back in this matchup. The focus here on the Shrine of Life is unsuccessful, as the blue team do pick up the Shrine of Life out of the red team's hand. And it looks like the push that happened by the red team was not enough. Let's take a look at the rallies available. 2 rallies on their way. We have 1 marching towards the obelisk. Now, chat, here's the deal. Let's talk about this situation right here. You have a situation, okay? We're going to zoom out a little bit because we really want to see this on a macro level. And I want to use this for a moment. This building is worth 20 points, period. You can clearly see in this building that there are massive amounts of blue blue buildings. Even if you take this obelisk back, there are plenty of blue buildings that can take back the obelisk into their favor by just simply swarming this obelisk. At 20 points, the red team made a huge mistake here. This big march all the way this way with all the troops that made it here, instead of holding on to a Sky Altar. They walked out of the Sky Altar and sent a rally towards the obelisk, instead of holding on to a Sky Altar, a building that is worth 150 points per minute. And now they can actually lose this matchup because of one simple mistake of fighting an obelisk. Fighting for an enemy's obelisk is fantastic early on. It's a fantastic diversion tactic in case you are in the lead. But once you are 1 foot behind, the amount of troops that went in here, we're about to try to take a look at the battle report. We're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4 marches that could have potentially sat in the Shrine of the Shrine of War, in the altar of Sky Altar right there that they lost. 941,000 troops with tier 5s went into this obelisk for no reason. The name of the game is points per minute. You do not want to lose the point per minute advantage. That's the most important part of this game. The blue team started with a bad point per minute start, and then they lost the Temple of Osiris, the first one. The first arc went in the favor of the red team. But then they started upsetting in the point per minute game, holding on to buildings, which required the red team to start reacting to that, which gave the blue team the second arc of Osiris. Now, the red team has presence in here more than they did previously. But at this point, the lead is very much in the favor of the blue team. And they are gaining more and more with every single minute. And so this 4,000 point arc could go towards the red team. But the blue team, by the time all of this happens, the blue team are going to be so far ahead that the arc itself will not make a difference. The blue team are now holding on to 900 points per minute, 600 120 points per minute for their favor. And so another minute in here means another 620 points. Let's say a 3-minute march, 2-minute march back in here, that's another 1,200 points. And so by the time this arc spawns and makes its way back to the red team, we are looking at 1,800 points more for the blue team than the red team. And the blue team is already 3,500 points ahead. And so even if this arc goes in favor of the red team, the blue team will maintain a very small lead. That's how this game mode works. You have to be able to gain a lead and then utilize that lead in order to make sure that whatever the other team does, you have plenty of time to react to their actions. Right now, the blue team can completely give up this arc because they are so far ahead that by the time this arc makes its way back in favor of the red team, it won't be enough. This march that is holding the Arc of Osiris is not even moving. And it has 2 minutes and a half march back. 2.5 minutes is enough for these guys to gain another 1,200 points quite comfortably. It's just not enough. It's just not enough, this arc. It's not enough. And even though they are carrying the arc back, and it will look... you picked up that. That's pretty hilarious. And we are going to see the red team taking another arc into their favor. It's just not enough. It really isn't. A 10-hour arc is not a thing. I'm hoping that this will end in 1 hour. If it doesn't end in 1 hour, we are going to stop it in 1 hour and go to Lilith and be like, yo, what the hell is this? I'm pretty sure this is a display bug more than anything. Chat, I woke up with a sore throat, so casting today is going to be a pain. But we have to get it done. We have to get it done. I think that's the time for your next arc. Maybe. I think this is wrong. This is period. This is not right. This shouldn't be right. Drink hot tea. I hate tea. I hate tea. I can't stand tea. I can't drink water that has like very light taste. It's either we drink like something like juice or nothing. I don't like Coke, dude. Did you say Coke? Is it time for the next arc? You have 16 hours on yours. Oh, this might be our arc timer then, not the Osiris League timer. This might be our arc. It makes sense. Sparkling water, that's a good idea. Although I don't drink anything that has sparkling in it, with the exception of beer. Coffee, yeah, coffee is the next best thing for me. When's your Arc of Osiris? Our arc should be in 10 hours. But I'm not participating in JWM's arc. I'm casting all day. Chat, if you guys haven't yet, make sure you slap a like on the stream, and you definitely want to be subscribed to the channel because we are going to be casting every single slot of the day. We have 5 arcs today, and we're going to cast all 5. Hopefully, the next one we cast, the one we start with, is actually competitive. Just like this cast, if it's not competitive, we're not going to take a look at it. We're going to go find something else to look at. Blue team with a backstab. Red team going towards an outpost that doesn't belong to them anymore. And blue team with a backstab. If this arc falls, and by some miracle, the blue team managed to... Oh my goodness. There are actually marches in here. Look at this. Oh, there is a big swarm by the red team. No way this goes down. No way this holds. But as soon as this becomes red, the arc will make its way in. Blue march is on their way. This was not a bad attempt. This was not a bad attempt at all. But look at this. 3 minutes. 3 long minutes. And the arc cannot be delivered. The arc cannot be delivered. It's making its way out of here into the next outpost. But even now, the blue team are once again delaying the arc. The arc coming back into the outpost, and it should be deliverable. It is not deliverable? No, you have to own the building, don't you, buddy? That's a problem. That is a problem, as the arc is about to drop outside the outpost, and 3 full minutes until this outpost becomes red and the red team can deliver this arc. Boy, oh boy. This is looking rough. It doesn't even look like the blue team or red team are going to be able to return this arc. And the blue team solely in command. 1,010 points ahead every single minute. And so 2 minutes still remaining until the red team can secure potentially this arc, which means another 2,000 points in the lead, and bada bing, bada boom, there goes. I don't know why I'm saying that. I had a conversation with Chisco a little bit ago, and that stuck in my head. God damn it, Chisco. And now the red team just having to hold on and wait it out. And while that is happening, look at that. Blue team picking up such a big lead. Ladies and gentlemen, it is over. It is over. It is indeed over. Sunday streaming? Oh, hell yeah. We're streaming all Sunday long. 5 different streams, 5 different time slots, including the back-to-back arcs, which are going to be a pain in the butt to cast. Those are going to be a really tough ones to cast. But we'll see how that works out. We'll see how that works out. Ladies and gentlemen, it looks like this match is over. 6 minutes remaining. Let's go take a look if everybody has their solo points taken care of. Red team seem to be pretty well above the 10,000. 16 members above the 10,000. A lot of these folks nowhere near. A few guys seem to have joined a little bit late or haven't joined the fight almost at all. So 16 members with above 10,000 points, while on the blue team, we also see only... Wow, this is actually very weird. Only 16 members with over 10,000 points. This actually looks really weird. Very, very weird indeed, Chad, because it shouldn't be like this. The blue team should have a decent amount of people above 10K, especially with their lead. It goes to show how much work the few individuals did, and it looks like this is a big boy GG. It looks like this is a big boy GG. NB0, unfortunately, this guy picked up the arc while fighting. I am done. That is the funniest thing I've seen in a while. You're actually might not even survive that, brother. And he made it in. Osiris, Arc of Osiris secured, but look at that. By the time all of this was done, 6,000 point lead for the blue team. And so they shouldn't care anything at all. They don't care. They're so far ahead. For them right now, it's solo points and over. They did literally everything they needed to do correctly. They started on the back foot. When we started this cast, I don't know if you guys remember, you probably do. Red team owned like all the way to here. It was crazy. Red team had most of the map, and they had the Arc of Osiris in their favor. But as they focused on the Arc of Osiris, the blue team started chipping in buildings, picking up buildings. That dark color right there is probably... There we go. So they started picking up buildings in their favor and just locking these buildings out. 4 altars in their favor. And the red team, even though they did manage to walk in the first Osiris, its Arc of Osiris itself, and had a pretty decent lead early on, they were not able to capitalize on points per minute buildings, which is the most important thing. They went for an obelisk while they had an altar that was super fragile. They lost focus, like Sue said right there, like Squiggle said right there. They lost focus. They took their eyes off the prize. The prize is to win the match. And as soon as they started losing the match, they lost focus. They panicked up a little bit, and it seems like they had a game plan that wasn't working, and they did not adapt mid-game to the situation. I'm assuming rallies on an obelisk is something they planned to do regardless, but once you reach a certain situation, you have to understand the plan is out the window, and we got to start improvising. The one most important thing I can tell you guys as a lesson learned from this arc and from all of Osiris League is that the plans are fantastic, and there are unbelievable amounts of strategies. The guys from 160G did something that, if you guys noticed, is super critical, which nobody paid attention to. They did something very early on. There are a lot of strategies, a lot of little tricks, and a lot of plans that have been planned and are good. But the name of Osiris League is not going to be if your plan is good. It's going to be, what do you do in case your plan goes bad? How do you improvise mid-game? Are your teams available to improvise mid-game? Do they understand what their roles are and understand at some point, listen, the plan went out the window. We need a better plan. Time to start improvising and figuring things out. Do you understand what the focus is? The focus should always be, and I'm saying this without even thinking about it twice, the altars. If you're seeing that your team is not able to hold on to at least 2 altars, my goodness, this situation is rough. Cast LTD too late now. LTD are like 2 minutes away from being done. We had this matchup that was a very interesting matchup. It was a great cast. I think that the biggest mistake the red team did was completely ignore the altars. And more than that, once they did pick up altars, like the sky altar, when they did pick it up, they bailed out of it. And so blue team were very quick at being able to pick it back up. And so, again, you have to be able to keep your eye on the prize, understand the game mechanics, and understand where your priority should be. And if your plan at some point goes out the window, how do you improvise? It looks like the blue team's plan worked out pretty well. They started on the back foot quite significantly, but clawed their way back into the match. And they are 3 members short. They've been members short the whole match. People are joining right now towards the end. But you can see they have 1 member who just joined. Well, 1 more member is about to get in. This member just joined as well. And all the rest of these guys are picking up solo points, trying to get their solo points done. I don't think the blue team really care for buildings too much right now. You can see 2 buildings went back in their favor of the red team and then back to blue. It doesn't matter. Match over. Blue team destroying. Just destroyed. A fantastic arc by them. Massive GGs to 201p. Chat. 102 people in the chat. Let's get some GGs in the chat for 201p for a fantastic Arc of Osiris matchup. A great Arc of Osiris matchup. An awesome start to their Osiris League. We'll go take a look at their group in a moment and see who is who in here and who else they got in this group. 25 seconds remaining, hopefully. Hopefully 25 seconds remaining. Blue buildings blinking, red buildings blinking. At this point, it doesn't matter. It's all about the points per minute, which are so far in the favor of the blue team that it doesn't even matter anymore. 5-second countdown as the GG's coming up in the chat. It is over. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know why defeat or what? Okay, cool. 201 amigos. I guess this is what this is. Taking the individual scores right there. Massive GG's. Oh, do we not get to see that now? Aw. Well, I'm assuming this is a bug. This is a bug because I'm in a view that I'm not supposed to be. Now the real question is whether this will kick me out or crash. I think this is going to stay crashed. I think I need to drop the game. Yeah. I don't think... Oh? Whoa. Whoa. This is cool. This is cool. We have a map. Negatives. That's neat. 2 arcs versus 1. The cleanup wasn't too successful, Lilith Gaming, but hey, it's better than nothing. Why am I observing Kingdom 60? I don't even know anymore. Chat, what an amazing matchup we got to see today. It was great to see. It was great to see the comeback. The comeback was really, really good to see. We're seeing a great fight in there. Let's go take a look at who else had what going on in today's situation. So nobody in here. Nobody in here. Nobody in here. No one's in here. We're going to go one by one. MFWD got annihilated by Ambition right here. Annihilation and F2P annihilated their opposition as well. Pretty one-sided matchups in Division 5. Division 7 had UCS destroying 21N. Not too surprising, not too surprising. One of the top alliances in the game. The matchup we got to witness, a pretty close matchup overall. NB0 just lost focus and lost the match. You have a great night. Fernando, thanks for being here. We're going to take a quick look at the rest of the division, see how other matches ended up, and then we're going to wrap it up. I'm going back to sleep. We got another match to cast at noon my time, and 4 more matches to cast today. Chat, before you leave, slap a like on the stream. And of course, if you aren't subscribed yet, make sure you do. Good job by Lilith that this actually works. It's very surprising, believe it or not, that the watch thing actually works. 160G did their job and destroyed as well. It wasn't as uneven matchup as I would have hoped it would be. And so let's go keep taking a look at all the rest of these divisions, see if anyone else participated. 21, we've skipped on you. I apologize. Let's go take a look here. Anonymous annihilating. This was another matchup I was potentially looking at. Thankfully, we didn't look at it because it was a straight up annihilation by both alliances in this division fighting at this time slot. 23 had, LTD lost to L9H by just a little bit, it seems. It seems like this was a very competitive matchup. So good for them. An underdog, about 90 million power less, beating LTD. Very interesting stuff. Very, very interesting stuff. I wonder if I can go look at the divisions groups and straight up see this. But I'd rather go through here and just take a look at everything right there. Nothing in here. A few more divisions for us to take a look at. 27 have nothing in here as well. 28 have nobody fighting right now. 29 had that happen. That has to be a bug, right? Nobody showed up for ARC. This is going to be an interesting story. Was it a bug? Was it lag? Something happened in here. Oh boy. Is the betting system live? I don't think so. I haven't seen it yet. In 31, an annihilation by FTKA. And I think that the betting system will be up now because you didn't have coins before. Now you should have coins after this round's arc. And actually, I need to start doing arcs too. That's actually really bad. I won't be able to do, that sucks. I didn't think about that. I didn't think about the fact that I wouldn't be able to get coins because I'll be casting so much. Oh, that sucks. Oh, well. Life of a content creator. You guys get to enjoy a lot of rewards from Osiris League, which is good. I like it. I like that there's a lot of Osiris shop rewards and there's going to be a betting system where you can get more coins. I think that's dope. It's not that big of a deal. A little bit of sculptures. What I'm really sad about more than anything, and I'm not going to lie to you guys, is the skins. I want the skins. I don't care for this skin because honestly, let's be real. Unless I was playing with JWM, this was not attainable, but this was, which makes me sad. But still, casting is more important as far as I'm concerned. These two guys were way too much for me to get as well. And so that's where you should get coins still. I don't know if you get coins. I think you have to participate in the arc, in the regular arc. All right, chat. I'm going to head out of here. It is 7 a.m. I'm going back to bed at 7 a.m. Thank you guys very much for being here. 100 beautiful people in the chat. Big shout out to Edward and to Michael, our 2 members in the chat for the stream. Thomas, I'm literally about to head out. The VOD is going to be available very soon, and you'll be able to check that one out. Alliance members get coins. Awesome. Sweet. All members will get coins. Sweet. That's awesome. Thank you guys very much for being here. Faye and Thomas and Squiggles, aka Sue, Michael Jackson, one of our members in the chat, and Edward as well, of course. Ryu, thank you for being here. Stir, so many bugs, slowly and steadily, Stir. There is absolutely no way to test these things until they're live, really. Ivan for being in the chat as well, and Michael and Careless Whisper was here. I'll post 1096 arcs in your Discord. Cool. Careless Whisper in here, and Kentan, thank you for the $5 Australian early on, and thank you as well for the previous $5 Australian you sent last time around. You weren't in the chat for me to thank you, but thank you. Savage Boys Gaming, Grapes Free, Alex Jr., No Limit Cairo, Neil, Stephanie, Touch, Joel, Jonathan, who else we had in the chat? Of course, Just Jeet, aka Ryu. Homicide was here early on. Venom, Matan Omer, who is Israeli, he typed in Hebrew in here as well. Baby Shark, dude, don't start with your Baby Shark. If you start with Baby Shark and then Grandpa Shark and Mama Shark, I won't go to sleep. Please. It'll get stuck in my head again. Walter and Emperor Satan, thank you guys very much for being here. I'll see you guys in the next cast in about 5 hours. Set your clocks. If you guys have any matchups in 5 hours you guys think are going to be close that you want me to take a look at, hit me up on Discord. Let me know which division and who are you looking at. I have a pick already of a pair that I think is going to be very competitive. But again, if any of you find something better, please let me know. Daryl, thank you for being here. Basudev, thank you for being here as well. Chat, I'll see you guys sooner rather than later. Take care. Peace.